All right, welcome everyone. Wanted to start off today talking a little bit about what's happening in America right now with ICE. If you haven't heard, ICE has been in the news recently for lots of different reasons. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about was an app that Palantir is using called Elite. So imagine Google Maps, but it's designed specifically for deportation rates. It's effectively what Palantir has built for ICE, and it's an app called Elite. And according to a report from 404 Media, this tool allows agents to pinpoint targets in specific neighborhoods, view address confidence scores, like how likely they are to be at that address at that time, and even select groups of people just by drawing shape on a digital map. It's really dystopian. And I think it's important for people to understand that this surveillance technology that we've all feared is actually here. And it's really raising questions about privacy, civil rights, and really just the future of how AI is used in law enforcement. So let me start.
A new investigative report by 404 Media says ICE agents have a new high-tech way to zero in on neighborhoods to raid. The report says it's an app called Elite, and it's developed by Palantir, which is a data analytics company used by federal agencies and state and local governments. Now, the app populates a map with potential targets, pulls up a profile on each individual person, and provides a, quote, confidence score on each person's address.
Explain the tool in detail. I found this testimony from Oregon where an ICE official, under sworn deposition, explained exactly how they were using this tool to actually target neighborhoods. And I also found this link to Palantir as well. I think finally providing the clearest link yet between the tech that Palantir is making and how ICE is actually choosing where to raid and where to target.
So what kind of data are they looking at here on this app? And is it being used in agents all over, not just Minnesota?
So with this testimony in Oregon, an ICE official said it's basically like a Google's map interface where you can look around the United States, you can zoom in on targets. And I've seen the interface and he's exactly right. That's exactly what it looks like. You then click on an individual person and it brings up their name, a photo, most importantly for ICE, their apparent address, and also a confidence score on how likely it is that person is actually there, such as 90 out of 100 or 75 out of 100.
Orwell's 1984 is here, and all supported by AI and Palantir.
This looks like this is exactly what we were fearing, and not just the immigration policy, like that's like an entire separate conversation, but what this reveals about like vendor power and data control, that was the most important crucial part of this entire news what I was looking at. Maybe what we are seeing is an app that basically give agents confidence on where people are. This does not just looks to me like a surveillance technology. It's more than that. It's like predictive analytics on top of that. And if all of this can be used for users' personal data, how are we considering the enterprise one? Like if ICE can do that on users' personal data, who else are they like serving? And if this kind of interest conflicts, if there's a conflict of interest, whose side are they on? That's a whole big conversation that I think we all need to have for sure.
Yeah, that's the scariest part, because it's not just about the specific policy, whether you agree with immigration policy or not, whether you agree with whatever policy this is being used to enforce. Eventually, it's going to be used against you. Eventually. There's once you have developed this technology, once you've developed this capability of predictive analytics and, mass data to be able to, right now it's on immigration enforcement. What if now then they start using it against protesters or people that they seem as, enemies of the state? This is not what I believe that we should. I'm really surprised that this isn't more of a news story, to be honest.
Sounds to me it's pretty big. Honestly, I just assumed this existed or something like it, just from based on what you're saying, like what we see in the enterprise, the type of funnels and granularity we can get into people's activity on the web. If you have access to more than that, through whatever other systems they use to get data on people in the States and anywhere else, I just assume they have this UI, where they can pinpoint on anybody and know all the prior, all their information. But now, the scary part to me, it sounded like this could happen in kind of like a real-time way, where they can get like a confidence percentage that somebody's actually in the play, so they can coordinate and attack with the agents. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think this data was going to be there anyway, and an app like it's bound to happen. Given the data, we're going to have apps that allow to process that and see that on a map and find each other. So yeah, I'm curious how we're going to get a privacy policy in place where we feel confident enough that we can share this information and use it for our own advantage.
Yeah.
What do you mean by share it and use it for your own advantage?
So I always go back to this thing I've said for years now. I want AI assistants, AI that are ubiquitous to me, like they are everywhere. I don't have to tell them what to do, they know. And I know that for that to happen, like I need to give all the information. Where I'm at, what my sleep, what I'm doing, what channels I like to see, what are my goals, like I need to give it all.
Yeah, that's why
I'm that, and trust one of these big companies with that information today, that's kind of super dangerous. Like that's not something I feel comfortable doing at all.
I don't trust any of these companies today with any of that information. That's why I try to run as much as I can locally. It's just the hardware is not there to do, the most advanced stuff, but it's getting there. Because I think you're right. You have to, and that's what I'm really curious about too. Is like, well, how do they get this information to begin with? I think that they obviously have to. They're not. How are they scooping up all this information? And one of the things that is kind of the dirty little secret of Silicon Valley is that, whether it be Facebook and the apps, it's not necessarily Facebook that's selling your data. It's these third-party apps that'll be like, what Game of Thrones character are you? Answer these questions. And it just harvests all your data. Or there's a lot of free apps on the App Store that you just hit the terms of service and say, okay. And guess what? It's now taking all of your data. That is their business model, because then they turn around and they send that data to data brokers, which I'm assuming Palantir is a customer of and is harvesting that data and making it actionable for, things like this.
And I think Palantir is not doing anything wrong from their perspective. They're serving their client. And that is exactly the problem. Your AI vendor will always serve their interest first. And as users, we can't do anything on that.
They always say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. No one ever believes that they're doing the wrong thing, no matter who the evil person in history is. Everyone always believes they're doing the right thing. But I urge people to, know, especially now that, things like ChatGPT, they just launched, ChatGPT Health, and is urging everyone to upload their personal health data. There's people that just sit there and just, a common misconception is that your phone is just recording you and that's how you get the ad, because it's like listening to your conversation, it serves your ad. And honestly, the truth is scarier. You probably saw that ad before but didn't realize, and they're not listening to what you're talking about. They're actually influencing what you talk about. And therefore you then see it, and there's this whole psychology that you need to see something online like 10 times or something like that before it actually registers. But now people are just riding around with their ChatGPT open, mic open, just talking to it all the time, telling it its deepest, darkest, secrets, and not just in the form of a like or in form of comments. It's getting your tone, your inflection, your, how you're feeling that day. And this is all data that can then be used. And they're all buddies, all these big tech.
Yeah. And this confidence score thing, like they're rating how likely someone is at a specific address, like 90 out of 100. And I was just like trying to understand how this would have worked before that. Like I was reading another article and it was mentioning the difference between this, like how AI has multiplied the effect, because now it's not just static data, like this person will be at this specific location or that, but with the use of AI, what it's doing is with all the data, it is predicting the likelihood, like at this specific time they will be at this point using all the data that they have, which is like exactly why AI is in this equation, how AI is multiplying all of this surveillance effect. So how can we think like when we upload any customer information or any of our basic information to any of these cloud AI platforms, how can we not think like they are not analyzing those patterns? They are not building our profiles, not building confidence scores on our own data. It's all being tracked. And the only solution to all of this is just self-hosted AI. I think the more people who can get educated on this is getting important day by day. And with news like these, I think that's even crucial. Yeah.